What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to 2019. This is going to be the first video we have in 2019. It is crazy how fast that went by. But today I'm going to be talking about one little aspect of Aperture actually that I've actually adjusted myself to fix, and kind of just wanted to share with you guys why I made this quick adjustment to my photos and what it might mean for you. Alright, so welcome to the channel. If you're new here, it's 2019. My name's David Lee. I am a content creator looking to help you improve your visual content through tutorials, advice, and entertain you guys with my own content. And if you're new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. Make sure to turn on those notification bells if you want to stay updated. I upload a few videos, 1 or 2 videos a week. I'm trying to kind of adjust myself for 2019. I rather give you guys some quality videos over 2 videos a week or 3 videos a week. It is going to be a little bit inconsistent as of now, since I'm just trying to readjust myself and give you guys better content. But you know, back on topic. We're going to be talking about aperture, and actually recently I have switched my aperture ranges from, you know, like 1.4, 1.6 to 1.8, 2.2, 2.8. I've been really going for those thinner apertures. For some reason, I just feel like I feel a lot better shooting in these thinner apertures, and I really want to explain why and kind of what this does for your photos and what my reasoning behind doing so is. Let's get started with that, but before we go, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you guys may want to learn in the next video, what you guys are looking forward to. Let me know your New Year's resolution. Just drop me something below. Let me know. Come stop by, say hello, and let's just get into why I am starting to use some thinner apertures. So, as someone that uses prime lenses, and if you don't know, prime lenses usually have... Sorry about that. As I was saying, if you know what a prime lens is, you would know that it has a lot wider aperture. So the aperture gives more isolation, a lot more bokeh. And I love that about prime lenses. I am a prime lens kind of guy. I don't really shoot in zoom lenses that often. I do own some, I do use some of them. I use them sometimes, but for the most part, I don't. This is something that is really based on you and what you like to shoot. As a prime guy, I have been using wide apertures for forever. The lens we're shooting on right now goes at 1.4 max. This is a 1.2 max. This is a 1.4 max. And wow, that's awkward. But my lenses are okay. That was bad. This is a 2.8 maximum wide aperture. So these 3 lenses are all primes, 100, 35, and 85, and the one we're shooting on right now is at 24. So those are all prime lenses, and they have super wide apertures compared to their counterparts or the other lenses that have zoom lenses, such as the 2.8, 24 to 70. It covers all those ranges except for the 85. It's just that it's at a 2.8 aperture and it zooms, but you know, it's entirely up to you. Anyways, I keep straying off topic, but let me stay on topic. So the reason that I've switched to some thinner apertures is because a lot lately I've noticed that shooting at these really thin apertures is super hard to get in focus, especially when I'm doing low angles. When I shoot at low angles, for some reason, especially even on the 1DX, even with face tracking, I happen to get things out of focus. And I don't even know what it's focusing on, but it only happens at the low angle. So when I'm doing like fashion or editorial shoots and I shoot at a low angle, the body is out of focus. Whether I focus on the body or the face itself, face tracking, it doesn't end up being in focus. Now, I don't entirely know why, but I assume that it has to do with the aperture. So the moment I bumped my aperture up to a 2.8, everything was sharp and in focus with still a blurry background, just like everyone loves that look. So I don't understand why it happens, but it just does. So I'm assuming that it focuses on something. Maybe my lens is dirty or something, but when I switch it to a thinner or a larger aperture, it just so happens to work. And that was just the initial switch of switching apertures. Afterwards, I've realized that I've kind of liked switching and using, you know, thinner apertures, so like 2.8, 2.2, because I feel like my shots are a lot more sharp than they would be at a wider aperture, like a 1.4 or 1.6. And of course, yeah, I know that, you know, having a wider aperture means that things are less in focus and you're gonna have whatever's in front of you more in focus. You know, it just feels really nice to shoot at 2.0 or 2.2 or 2.8 because you know that you're gonna get the stuff in focus and it turns out super sharp. So when you're editing it, you kind of have this reassurance that things will be more in focus and it's a lot easier. Especially in 2018, 2019, you're gonna see a lot more editorial stuff. You're gonna see a lot more influencer stuff, and these influencers love like a 2.0, a 2.2, a 2.8 aperture. They don't like that super sharp isolation to the point where you can't see anything in the background, because the point of their shots are to have that surrounding background, to show that they're in this specific place, that they're traveling here and there. So when you're taking these travel shots or these influencer shots or social media influencer marketing shots, you want to be able to capture a lot of the image while still maintaining the quality of your image. So my advice to that would be to shoot at larger apertures like 2.8 and 3.0 or 3.5, which I honestly have been doing, and as bad as it sounds, it's actually not that bad, because I mean, I feel like a lot of people nowadays are scared to go past 2.8 or even 1.8 if they have to. I feel like people are trying their hardest to get to the wider apertures like 1.4, 1.6, no matter what, and you're paying money for those. But honestly, you don't have to use them. I honestly don't think that those apertures are, you know, the best. Of course, they have their reasons. I still use my widest possible aperture in video. For videos, I do 1.4 or 1.6 most of the time, but for photos, these thin apertures have really been saving my life. If you guys don't already know, if you guys are scared, don't be scared to control your aperture. The reason that it's there is for you to control. If you're shooting in manual, of course you're gonna want to switch it around and change it. So maybe rather than dropping that shutter speed to get that extra darkness in your photo, maybe just turn down the aperture a little bit. You know, just test things out, explore, try things out. Don't just stick to the shutter speed and the ISO. Kind of explore with your aperture too, because I know that it could be really tempting to keep that bokeh and isolation look, but it's not everything. And I taught myself that in the past like month or two, because I've been really switching it up and kind of exploring and kind of telling myself that it's not the most important thing in the world to utilize the apertures to the widest possible extent, because you're gonna miss focus, especially when you're using a lens like this. I missed focus on this so many times. Shots came out so blurry. Like occasionally you have your really intact sharp one, but for the most part this lens made so many things blurry. Like it would focus on an eyelash, it would focus on the nose rather than the eyes, and it's just super hard to capture focus on specific things. So using these thinner apertures at, on prime lenses and other lenses where it's a lot harder to, know where you're focusing, especially because when you look on like a tiny LCD screen, it's super hard to tell, is this in focus or not? Because you can look at it and be like, yeah, this is totally in focus. So then when you get home, put it in Lightroom, you look at it, completely blurry. We all have had that moment. I've had that moment. You've probably had that moment. If not yet, you will. Everyone's had that moment, and it sucks because once you're home ready to edit, you can't take the shot again. Moral of the story, don't be afraid to thin your aperture, to use a 2.8 or 3.5 or 4.0, because honestly, they really help you out, especially depending on what you're shooting. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Happy 2019. I hope you guys achieved all your New Year's resolutions, and let's make 2019 ours. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and I'll catch you later. Peace.